Yes, welcome back to Dyl Friends. This episode of Dyl Friends, actually I should say this episode of Teach Me Pls, how to meditate with my good friend Ryan Mannix. Now, before I get into that, welcome back to Teach Me Pls, ladies and gentlemen. This episode of Teach Me Pls is brought to you by our beautiful friends at Lululemon, creating transformative products and experiences that build meaningful connections, unlocking greater possibility and well-being for all. That was my first time doing that, by the way.
You did well.
Did you like that?
Very good.
I'm not the best
Rolled off the tongue.
reader, but that was the best I do. Hey, Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm good, Dyl. Thanks for having me in.
Mate, I'm so excited to do this today. We actually met recently
At
a party.
a party.
How
I mean,
funny.
it was a pretty mellow party. Don't think of it like a...
Oh, maybe for you. Speak for yourself, man.
As in terms of, it's not like we're party animals. Well, I'm not
Wow.
at least. Maybe you are. Who knows? But we met briefly at M's party. It was
M's
great.
party,
It was
yeah.
nice to catch up, and I'd heard a lot about you, so it was nice to meet you in the flesh.
It was cool because I'd heard a lot about you too, but you know, in this world, when you haven't met someone, you don't know what they look like. And then I was like talking about you probably 2 hours before with them, and then you were there, and it's
Here I
like,
am.
hey man, I'm him. And I was like,
And then I just learned that you have an 8-month-old as well. That's
and you
great.
have a 9-month-old.
Fantastic.
And our partners are both in
Nutrition. Crazy.
Fuck hell. This is a bit of a universal thing's happening. Hey man, today we're going to learn about meditation.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's been a useful tool for me. So I love sharing it, and I love talking about it. And it's not rocket science, even though sometimes it sounds a little like people are intimidated with meditation because it's like, what's the technique? What do I do? How do I do it? I can't do it. Like, I'm too busy. So there's lots of barriers, but it's nice to talk about it because we can sort of break down some of those barriers and make it really simple. So it's helped me a lot. It's helped a lot of the crew that I've worked with. So I think it's good for the world, meditation.
We speak about a lot here, like a tool belt and just like having different things on your tool belt and like knowing, when to use them, whether it be communication, it could be a breathing technique, could be millions of things. And I think meditation is that one that I still haven't nailed on my tool belt. Like I don't have it there yet to be able to like sort of drag it out when I need it.
Yeah.
Obviously done a lot of really cool work with Emma Murray, who comes on the pod a lot around mindfulness and meditation, and guided meditations is something I listen to a lot. But I think, I really still want to upskill myself, and I'm sure a lot of people do today in this, which we're really excited to get to. Hey, talking about yourself though and your story quickly, take me back to like 18-year-old Ryan. Could you imagine you're doing what you're doing now? Like has meditation been a part of your life, or was it something?
Funnily enough, Dyl, when you say that, like I look back and in reflection, by default, like I was a runner back when I was 18. I can picture myself like as a schoolboy trying to chase like Victorian teams, trying to represent Victoria at the national cross country championships, and everything I read was running specific. I was motivated to train every day. I sort of loved Steve Monaghetti and the guys in Ballarat. So I noticed when I finished high school, my first thing was I was going to move to Ballarat just to hang out with the crew. If someone's ever inspired me, I've generally sort of go out and try and hang out with them for a bit. So that was my 18-year-old self. Definitely wasn't meditating. However, I was working with some coaches that would definitely steer us in the direction of like visualization techniques and so forth, which was helpful for races. Like picture yourself running well, or picture yourself running strong over the ground. Visualize, what's the weather like? What are you wearing? What's the course like? And that I found was helpful. It kind of rubbed off on me in the race, and I could feel those moments of like steadiness and strength. And maybe that visualization technique was, I was already practicing meditation and I didn't really even know it. Plus, mindfulness is, we talk a lot about mindfulness in the modern world and how meditation is more of a sitting practice, but mindfulness is a practice that we're just showing up with day to day, like just to be here and feel that we're here or be involved in this conversation. Often the case is there's a lot of mindlessness, like my body's here but my mind's somewhere else. What's next? What am I going to have for lunch? What's the email? Like, how we can sort of, I'm sure a lot of listeners will be able to relate to that. Like you're here, but then actually the mind's somewhere else. So mindfulness is just bringing attention into the present moment. And I think I was doing that a lot by default with running. And I know you've played footy and, training when you're sort of in the moment and your attention is sharp and you're clear and you're right where you are. And I think it's a nice way to look at mindfulness, just to sort of be right where you are. So that was sort of happening by default. Like I'd go out into the bush. I went to Ballarat to run, and that was, for me, it felt like I could decompress out there. I'd go for a run in the forest and get into the hills, feel my breath, and naturally I was very mindful in those moments. but then I'd go back to my real life, and I'd be like busy again, and my mind sort of thinking 2 steps forward or hanging out in the past. So, and I think the thing is, mindfulness doesn't teach us just to be in the present moment. It's like, it's good to learn from our past. We can learn from our mistakes, and also it's good to check out the future. I set intentions still, and I have goals, and I'm driven, and that gives me zest for living. But being mindful I feel like it's a lost technique these days. So it's because we're always multitasking and there's so much going on all of the time. So to be present with life as life is happening in the present moment, it sounds simple, but it's not easy. So that's where mindfulness is helpful, to bring some technique in.
Mate, so good. Before you continue, that was fantastic. The mindlessness, I'd never heard of that before, but that hit me between the eyes. Is that what it was? Mindlessness?
Mindlessness, yeah. It's nice.
Like like that's me. I feel like I'm very mindless.
It's me too, mate.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I feel like we talk a lot, all of the time, and it's sometimes like the incessant thinking mind. It's on and on all day. So to have little pockets where you just sort of quieten down, and it's not, we'll get into this a little bit later, I'm sure, but meditation isn't getting rid of thinking at all. But it's just to be present with your thoughts, to be present. How am I looking after this moment? If it's the seed for the next moment, then kind of makes sense to look after what's happening now. So if I can bring my attention into the now, then I'm, obviously it's going to be best it's stepping me in the right direction for what's happening next.
Love it.
Back to 18-year-old Ryan.
Yes.
I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I love talking about some of the reflections of as a runner, because I think, when you play sport, or when you have a hobby, or when you have something that you're passionate about and you put your attention into it, there is a lot of mindfulness and there is a lot of presence. So that was really good. It put me in a good stead for, being able to focus, being able to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the training and so forth. I love training. I was an overtrainer back in the day, so I'd love getting it. I'd get out and I love pushing my body and challenging myself. And that would probably be a little bit of the opposite to what meditation is, like the striving and the, the seeking and the, the pushing and I was very hard on myself. I used to stand on the start line and I'd put a lot of pressure on myself. So if I had have known these skills back then, of more of the meditation stuff, I think I would have been a lot better off for it. But, I would talk myself out of the competition before even the gun even went. I remember standing in the start line at the World Championships for the first time. I was representing Australia in duathlon, so it was run, ride, run. We're in Budapest in Hungary, and I remember looking at a photo of myself and I was just as white as a ghost. I wasn't in my body. I was so in my mind. I was so nervous, and it was in my first World Champs, and gun went, and I reckon I finished not last, but I was definitely on the tail end of the field. I was just, and I did put a lot of pressure, but if I had have known meditation back then, meditation is just learning to relax more. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. I think it's really helpful to just learn how to relax, especially these days. Life's fast. We have goals. We set intentions. We put pressure on ourselves. We think other people are putting pressure on ourselves as well. But so it's just learning to relax more. And that's not only good for me, but it's also good for you.
Yeah.
If I can relax more, it's going to be good for you too.
100.
Yeah.
Where'd you find it?
Well, it was interesting. I was competing professionally as a duathlete, and, running was my passion. And then, so my whole life was I was identified as a runner and a duathlete, and then I got hit by a motorbike. So I broke my hip, ended up in hospital, and it was a longer than expected hospital. Sort of, I had some problems with broke my hip joint and broke my femur and had a lot of complications. So, I remember asking the doctor when he came in, the surgeon, the first question was, when can I get back into running? And he said, mate, you're never going to run again. So I was that was a big sort of it kind of knocked me for six, that one, not going to run again, because my identity was running. So I sort of went into a darker sort of place where, I wanted to sort of isolate myself. I didn't want to talk to people. I wanted to focus on getting back into running. And, if I look back at what is a dark time in my life, it would have been that little moment where I was working through the battles of not being able to run again and having this injury and being 2 weeks out from a world champs and trying to have a second crack at it. And then a friend of mine, funnily enough, I was doing lots of rehab, like physio, Pilates. I tried yoga. I didn't really love yoga at the start, but, and a friend of mine, opened a yoga studio, and just through yoga, I found meditation. I was sort of sparked into the practice of meditation, because I was going to yoga not for a physical workout, because like I trained for so many years, gym, running. Yoga wasn't like a physical workout. I never looked at it like that, even though like by default you kind of work the body a little bit. So my intro was in a studio practicing yoga. I found meditation, like just being able to calm down a little bit, just being able to feel grounded or slow my breath down to soothe my nervous system. You know, just these little simple things that we can do on the daily basis that you can really have it can help so much, you know, can help so much of our lives and also the lives of others. Like, you know, when you go home and you had a busy day and you go home to your family and your 8-month-old is, you know, there and you got your partner, and it's pretty easy to walk into the room and feel someone else's energy. So if you're walking in busy and frantic and like, you know, get out of my way, and you know, your partner's going to feel that. So it's like, if you can practice these little techniques, it's like, do it for you, but also do it for other crew.
I love that. It was really interesting. It's reminded me of a analogy of, oh God, I don't know who said this, but I was actually it was Hugh Van Cuylenberg said this. And it was around the gratitude and mindfulness and all these types of things that we're talking about today that all have profound impacts on different sort of parts of yourself. And someone said to him, you know, I don't practice gratitude or mindfulness for myself. I do it to be a better person for the people I love.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a really cool part, because I think something that, you know, is really related to me a lot in this space, and things that, you know, I let myself down with sometimes. It's very easy to let yourself down. Like, because it's just you, right? You're like, oh, I'm not going to meditate today because it's just for me.
Yeah.
But if you actually put that sort of meaning on it, going like, no, I'm doing it for me, but I'm actually doing it for other people as well. It holds a bit more of accountability to it. Whilst it's really good for you as well. So it's sort of a bit of a win-win.
Yeah, there has to be, to keep motivated with it, I think there has to be some kind of self-interest involved. Like there has to be some kind of benefit for self. But like you said, if you can throw into the mix, like I want to be a better dad, or I want to be a better partner, or I actually want to just go into the office and have that quality of
not hate everyone.
Not hate everyone, you know, and some days you do and other days you work on that. You know, it's like, and that's what we're doing
Try
here.
working with Darcy though, it's sort of hard.
Okay. He's doing pretty well at the moment, but behind the scenes, everyone. But, you know, I think it's helpful to notice that it's not, that's why it's called a practice, because some days you sit and your mind's really busy and you get into that criticism and judgment, and you could be, you know, and it just gets, and it heightens it.
Yeah.
But then other days it's actually the opposite. You can kind of relax more and you just let the mind sort of open to the sky-like quality that it is. So it's not always like going to be, you know, rainbows and butterflies, and that's not the idea of it anyway. It's like just to sit and make friends with your own mind. I think that's a really helpful thing to do.
Really like that. And just to double down on that point, because I think it's super important, is you're sort of saying there that if, you know, you're still going to have shit days, still going to have good days, still going to get angry, still going to get pissed off, but what do you think meditation does for you that maybe if anyone else experiencing those things and isn't sort of mindful in those senses, is it what you're learning more from it, you're just being present of it, and you can maybe detach from things quicker, or like what do you think the benefits are in that sense? I
mean, look, the more that you sit, close your eyes and just focus on just relaxing. That's as simple as that. Like just I remember doing a retreat with a guy called Rupert Spira. He's a really nice meditation teacher, and I remember he said, maybe one of the goals of meditation is just to be kind and kind to the inner critic, kind to yourself, kind to your own body, your own mind, because to the degree that you can be kind to yourself is the degree that you can be kind to others. So just to sit and have just an attitude of friendliness, just to sit and be present with your own body and your own mind, and notice that actually I can keep criticizing and judging and thinking I'm doing it wrong, or I can just sit and listen to life with an attitude of friendliness. And the idea being, you know, if I can be kind to myself, then imagine talking to someone like it's the last time you're going to talk to them, because maybe it will be one day. So it's like, how can I come at the world with an attitude of friendliness rather than an attitude of criticism and judgment? And I'm always I have that inner critic all of the time, and I'm constantly strengthening it because I can't do this, or I need to do that, or this person doesn't do that right. So if I can just sit down and learn to relax and just have an attitude of friendliness and listen to life, rather than step forward, kind of feel back. So sit back and kind of even just feel back 2 or 3 centimeters and just listen to life with an attitude of friendliness. Oh, there's sounds happening right now. Oh, there's that thinking happening right now. But you're wrapping your arms around it with friendliness rather than like, oh, I can't, my mind's busy. You know, oh yeah, there's that busy mind again. But it's like you hold it with kindness rather than you just keep strengthening that critic, which, so it's, And then if I can be kind to myself and just I can learn to relax more, like you said, you know, I'm going to talk to someone. My next interaction, at least, is going to perhaps be a little bit more easy and relaxed, rather than it's going to be that frantic critic, you know. And we can go down. We all know we can keep going down that path and strengthen that quality, or we can do something else. And meditation is inviting us to break the momentum and do something else.
I know everyone listening right now wants us to already get in and teach them, but I think there's some really cool points that I want to touch on beforehand, because to lead up to that as well, one thing that has really helped me probably in the last, I'll say 12 to 24 months, and I knew this probably 36 months ago, but it just takes time to sort of, you know, really click. And what sort of mindfulness and meditation in the small sample that I've done with it. So I'm already realizing it's actually helped me a lot more than I actually think it has, even if I haven't done it a lot, is the idea of like, you are not your thoughts. And like, it's almost like you're just listening to like your mind versus your thoughts are two different things. And even if you're thinking something or talking to yourself, that's not you, like it's someone else. Yeah. And being able to, like, it really clicked when you said before about that part where you go, oh, there's that thought again. Oh, okay. It's just passing by. Let it go. Like, it's just being able to call that sort of stuff out and know that, like, just because you think something doesn't mean it's you. It's just in your mind. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the thoughts that go through my mind lack a lot of substance. You know, if I listen to my thoughts for a moment, it's like a merry-go-round. There's no substance. It's just like it's just a cyclical sort of a pattern. So the idea of, and I like that you said, like, that you notice now that perhaps some of the stuff that you were doing in the past has been helpful, because that's the thing. Meditation isn't like, you know, if I go to the gym for 2 or 3 months,
get muscles, you
know, I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, I think I've got some biceps now, some pecs. I mean, I'm still working on that, but, but then, you know, the idea is it takes 3 or 4 years, like, to just look back. And I know it's like the long game a little bit, because I know that we all want a quick fix. Yeah. But if I can just sit quietly, and even if it's just, and maybe we can talk about now, how do I practice this stuff on the daily basis? How do I make it part of a ritual? I really love that book, Habit Stacking. I was sort of into that sort of habit stacking before, you know, I read the book Atomic Habits, I think it was called. And I like the fact that rather than try and add something on to, like, make it, could we do it like in a way that we're kind of like, if you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth every morning, you go to the bathroom, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, then you walk out the door, you feel good. If you don't brush your teeth, you walk out the door, you feel a little funky. Something's a little off. So if you eat in the morning, and it doesn't have to be time measured, you don't have to do it for 20 minutes or for an hour, or, you know, if you just have a little time, it might be boil a kettle. While the kettle's boiling, just sit down and be still for a moment. Close your eyes, focus on the breath, let your shoulders relax, and just listen to life as it's happening right there and then. And that's it, 1 minute. However much water you've got in the kettle, it will take that long. But so it can start really simple, you know. And I think the idea is that it's less of because I know people will say, well, how long should I do it for? And you know, what's the goal of meditation? And the idea is actually we're stepping away from the goal. It's like, sure, we might use some technique to settle attention. So I might use a mindfulness technique like the breath. And I know you were talking at the start of the podcast before we jumped on about like some mantra-based meditation. So it's some words that you come back to if you're unfamiliar with that as a listener. So there's maybe an anchor to come back to. And the anchor is just there so that you notice when the mind's gone off. Because if you don't have an anchor, sometimes you just spiral into thinking. You don't notice that you're actually doing something. You're pressing start and you're actually participating in something. So have an anchor, settle the mind. I find the breath is a helpful one, or a mantra. But then at some point, just let the mantra dissolve and just listen. Just listen to life. Again, with the clear, careful, friendly attitude, just listen to life, because life's happening right now and it's an opportunity just to listen to it as it's happening. The body's always communicating, so it might be a chance to listen to the body, or you could listen to the thoughts. But you're right, you know, if you were to think about who am I, and this is a question, I don't want to get too deep on this one, but
I'll get into it.
Who am I? You know, if we were to think about who am I, well, okay, I'm not my thoughts because they've changed in the last years. I'm not my beliefs because they've kind of shifted and changed, you know, the more I read. And my body's a part of me, but it's changing. Like I'm getting grey hairs, like I'm getting So that's changing. So who am I? If I take away the somebody suit, who am I? So meditation points us in the direction of actually where that witnessing quality that's present with life. So I can feel back into that and just notice that, yeah, maybe I'm not so much my thoughts. I can it gives me agency to discern. I can choose this thought, I can choose another thought, or I can keep going down the path of frustration, irritation. I'm sitting in traffic, I'm on Punt Road, or I can just actually learn to relax right now. So it gives me agency to choose more wisely, meditation, because I've realized that actually when I rest back, I can notice the movement of thoughts. So I can notice thinking. If I don't practice meditation and mindfulness, it's hard to notice thinking. It's just I go off into spiral.
Mindlessness as well.
Mindlessness, yeah.
I feel very educated already on that sense. I think we've got a really good base of like what meditation is, why we do it, some ways to sort of get into it. Before we get into sort of some bits and pieces around actually getting in, breaking down, and maybe even doing some practice ourselves.
Yeah, we can make it real simple. I think it's helpful to just break it down, make it really simple. What
Definitely.
is it, Do you want
to do that?
Yeah,
I just want to say one thing before that, because when you said it before, have you read The Power of Now? Eckhart Tolle?
I haven't, no, but I've got it on my bookshelf. It's one of those books I haven't picked up.
No, well, I've got it on my... I've got a Kindle that's got a lot of books that haven't been read on it, but I always get the books there. So one day when I actually do read them, they're there. And my mate, who's a frequenter on the podcast, his name's Ali Tarai. He went to Eckhart Tolle and he loves his meditation. He's gonna be pissed off that I'm talking about it because I never meditate with him. And he was talking about something the other day, and we're getting a little bit off topic here, but about how you said before, like, what actually are we, right? Like this. Your body you're in is like a vessel.
Yeah.
When you really break it down and you think about it deeply, like, what are we?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
And a nice reference to that is, what are we not? Like, if I kind of feel like, well, I'm definitely the center of my own universe, that's for sure. Like, now and again, it's like I feel like this separate sense of self. Like, I'm here and you're there, and like, soon I'll be out on the road, and it's get out of my way, and what's in it for me, and I need to get this and that. So there's a constant sort of seeking and grasping and striving. But when I let go of that and I notice what I'm not, maybe, I am this body. I sort of walk and talk around in it, but maybe I'm more than that. And I am my thoughts, because they arise, and I can my thoughts will steer me in a certain direction, but maybe I'm more than that too. I am my opinions, but actually my opinions, I can let go of one and I can hold another one. So what am I? It's a question that you don't have to always get the answer to, but because meditation is put your hand up to your ear and just listen for a moment, and it's like the I don't know is also a good answer. Do you know? It's like inquiry. It's like, oh yeah, well, if I'm...
Don't know.
That's a good answer, You don't have to have the answers, because having the answers all the time, it's like, I figured it out. Meditation is more free yourself of yourself. Don't worry about figuring it out. Like, you don't have to have the answers. Just kind of relax and let go. Free yourself of yourself. That's a great quote. It is what it is. Whoever came up with that one was going deep, even though they didn't know it, or maybe they knew it.
That was me. All right, let's go. What actually is meditation?
So meditation, you could describe meditation as being yourself and getting to know something about who that is. So just sit with yourself, as we've just been talking about, like notice the movements of the mind and how busy the mind is, and notice how back behind the thinking there's a part of you that's witnessing, or a little bit more steady or peaceful. It's being yourself. It's not trying to fix or change or get rid of. It's just being yourself, getting to know something about who that is. I think that's a good definition of meditation.
Does breath work, mindfulness, mindlessness sort of come under that realm as well? Like, is it...
Mindfulness, I would say mindfulness is more like a mindful technique is to notice breathing. So it's bringing your attention into the present. And that's tricky. It is simple, but it's not easy, because my attention wants to be here, there, and everywhere. Like, it's here for a moment. You know what? And then it flickers off and it's somewhere else, and then it will go off and rest somewhere else for a moment. So it's all over the shop. So mindfulness is, okay, I'm going to bring my attention into what's happening right now, and I'm just going to try and keep bringing it back. I'm going to strengthen that muscle of attention, just to bring attention into the present moment. And again, the word is do it kindly. So just kindly steer it back. When the mind drifts off, just kindly steer it back into. So that's mindfulness. That's mindfulness is being here and now, being right in the present moment as you are. And then meditation is then from there, when I bring my attention into the present moment, just to listen to life, just to meet life. Living is just living, just to be present with life. The sounds that are present, the feelings and emotions that you might be experiencing, when it's good, when it's bad. So don't look to do meditation just when you've had a challenging or a crisis moment in your life. I feel like that people will try and turn to meditation, and that's great, like all well and good, but do it when life's easy as well. Like just be able to sit down and close your eyes and focus on breathing, bring your attention into the present moment, a mindfulness technique, and then just listen to life, allow life to be as it is, and then life will let you be as you are. Like, so let it be and it will let you be. So you're not trying to change life. I want this, I need that, I have this, but I want that. Too big, too small, too hot, too cold. You're just allowing life to be as it is. So you're listening. Meditation begins when there's listening.
How often do you think, like at the beginning, you need to meditate or attempt to meditate to see benefits from it?
I like you saying medicate because it's like it is a form of...
I didn't mean to.
It is a form of medication. It's like it's something that's good for our mind. But how often do we do it? Do you want to do it? Is that what the question was? How often? I got stuck
like
on
I say,
medicate.
people might be going, committing to it every day at the beginning
100%.
can be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But do you think that you have to do it, an hour every day at
No,
the start to do it? Or is
not
it
at
just
all.
a once a week sort of thing you can start off doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's little and often is better than long and not often. So little and often would be like 1 minute. I remember a teacher used to teach what was called a bed med. So it's like either in the morning or at night when you go to bed. I find it's helpful in the morning. Just kind of before you roll out of bed, set your alarm for 1 minute. Like if you're waking up at 6 a.m., set it for 5:59 or maybe 6 a.m. Anything with a 5 in front of it these days feels a little clunky. But so set it to sit before you get out of bed. Put on your timer, on your phone, and just have like a 1 minute countdown. So it has a bell or some kind of alarm, and just close your eyes and focus on breathing. Focus on relaxing, and you might even relax on the exhale. We'll do that at the end of this podcast. We'll have a little practice together, but focus on something. It might be the breath. I think it's a really helpful technique. And then that could be it. The bell goes, roll out of bed, and off you go. And just for that 1 minute in your day, you've been present, relaxed, open. So in the present moment doesn't know dissatisfaction. It doesn't know busyness. It doesn't know planning. The present moment is just happening. It's just as it is. So for that 1 minute, best as you can, you're just practicing being where you are. And what generally happens from my experience of teaching people is that people want to do it more. So the 1 minute becomes 2 minutes, might be 3 minutes, might be 5. But rather than, the goal is to get to 20 minutes, make it less goal orientated. Just make it easy. Keep it easy. I think that's the best advice I ever had was just take it easy with yourself. Make friends with meditation rather than trying to make it something that it's not, like it's goal orientated. There's no gold medals in meditation. If there was, who knows? But it's like, there is no gold medals. You're not trying to, it's actually the opposite. Stop trying. Just relax for a moment. 1 minute.
The really interesting part about meditation that I probably struggled with at the beginning when learning was I'd be like, I'm not doing this right. I've got a busy mind. I keep losing, keep thinking about stuff. And when you're saying before about that mantra of either your breath or, a verbal mantra that you're saying in your head to keep bringing yourself back, it's actually fine, isn't it, to be thinking about things in that 1 minute or that 2 minutes. It's so normal, but it's just to be able to go, okay, there's that thought.
For sure. Thoughts are helpful. Thoughts got me here, it steered me to Google Maps and I had my favourite playlist on and I thought about, I want to listen to that song right now, and I just had a bun me in Smith Street and that was great. I thought about what I wanted to eat. Nah Train, you got it. And then I thought about wearing this T-shirt to see you guys. I thought the thoughts help. They're helpful, and planning and so forth. But what's not helpful is all the other stuff, like the criticism, not doing it right, I should be better, why is that person like this, or that person sucks, or all that stuff I don't find is very helpful. So actually I can just sort of park that for a bit, and even if that comes up, then you could just meet that with friendliness and come back to what you're doing, which is breathing. So it's useful to start, to press start and then have the technique. So to press to start, so rather than just sit and twiddle your thumbs, or I'm just going to sit still, sit and then have, I'm starting right now, so I'm going to focus on my mantra or my breath, And then at least I've started something so I can come back to doing it, because I noticed that my mind drifted off into the t-shirt, and you know what, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking maybe I should have worn the blue one rather than the grey one. You know, like my mind will, and did I even have the blue one? Maybe that's still staying from the other, you know, like it just goes off, and then the minute's up and I've lost track of where I am. So it's helpful to have something to come back to. So press start, 1 minute, focus on breathing, relax on the exhale. If the mind wanders off, come back to breathing out again, relax. And then the minute will be up soon enough and you get on with the rest of the day. And it starts there, and it's that simple. And then you're a better person for it, at least in the next interaction. So when you go out and you see your baby boy, you know, you're going to have a nice interaction with him. So it's going to be good for the world. And that's cool for the world. Like, I think it's helpful to notice if I can be more peaceful and easy just with myself for that little minute, I'm going to be more peaceful and easy with the next person.
What do you see the benefits of people that you've taught that study? Like, what are some of the things that even you've just observed as someone that's with them versus the things that they've said that is improved in their life?
You know, when you were practicing meditation, Dyl, how did you feel when I know you said you sort of struggle with it because you had a busy mind. I have a busy mind. I think it's like, busy mind? We're all got busy minds in this room. You know, like it's a pandemic, is busy mind. Because it makes sense. We live in the city. Like I'm living Torquay, but like it's still busy in Torquay. I don't know if you've been down there recently, but so busy mind, because we want to get things done and it's helpful. So I don't think we can, you know, like unless I go and live in the bush and I'm off the grid, my mind's probably still going to be busy even at that point. But how did you feel when you sat for a bit? Like even when you were focusing on your mantra, did you have little pockets where you felt a certain way?
Definitely. I think like the one part that is really powerful from it is actually just nearly the act of just making time for yourself. Like that first initial thing going like, hey, I'm actually just going to do something for myself right now. Yeah. And put that, like schedule that time away.
Yeah.
In terms of like how I feel after it, like I do now instead of the mantra-based stuff, if I'm looking to calm down or to just like sort of break away for a bit, I really enjoy doing guided meditations.
Great.
So I have a, you know, playlist on my Spotify account that I can just go through and just listen to someone talk.
Yeah.
And you know, if my mind does sort of drift off, I just come back to that voice.
For sure.
Which has been that stuff I have really enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really helpful. Like especially starting out, it can feel quite daunting. Like, what's the technique? I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I would say an app is really great.
Yeah.
Like because it can just guide you through certain meditation techniques. So, for instance, like some of the heart practices, like compassion and loving kindness, will steer you towards feeling more love for self and love for others. Yeah. Something like a grounding meditation where you're focusing on the ground, breathing out, it will help you feel more grounded. So certain, like if you choose a certain meditation, it's going to steer you in the direction of feeling a certain way, perhaps. So you can always sort of, you know, customize it to, you know what, I'm feeling pretty negative at the moment. So maybe I'll do a heart practice where I'll just sort of let things soften and, you know, wrap my arms around whatever it is that I'm feeling for a bit, or, you know, so you can sort of you can customize it if you're working with an app. So you can choose a certain practice. And generally when you scroll down, something will jump out at you. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that looks good. Whether it's like, hey, it's 5 minutes instead of 20, I've only got 5 minutes, or whether it's some of the words that are used in the app, like peace or ease, generally, or like energy or whatever. It's generally you'll look for what you need. But then also don't forget that if you forget your phone, you still have that inner wisdom that you can just sit and close your eyes and just kind of feel back behind all the thinking for a bit, whether it's a little bit more peaceful back there, a little bit more easy, or just simply listen to life, listen to sounds as they're happening, listen to emotion or feeling as it's happening, listen to thinking as it's happening. So it's a chance just to meet life as it's happening.
A really cool technique that I learned a long time ago that I don't use enough, and I think that's maybe something that my next question is like how to, you know, habit stacking is probably the way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just putting it with something else you do every day, so you do it. But it was around that, sitting in a room, try and see something that you've never seen before, try and hear something and try and feel something. So it's like,
great,
you know, sitting in a chair, okay, I can feel it across my back.
Yeah.
I can feel my, you know, my ass sitting on this chair, my feet on the ground. You know, it's bloody hot in this room. I think my feet are really, you know, they're sweating up. And then it's like, oh shit, I've never actually seen that little black dot where it's not painted. It's actually quite annoying now that I look at it, but I've never seen that before in this room.
Yeah.
And then, you know, here, like I can hear that fan just going off at the moment, which is actually quite therapeutic. So sort of just like taking my way through that a couple of times.
For sure. And that's definitely like, it's a a chance to be present with life, you know. It's just a chance to check in on life, and as I said, like when you're in that moment, when you're looking at the black dot, you're not thinking about the email you didn't send because as I said, present moment doesn't know all that stuff. It's just happening, and it's a chance for you to decompress and just allow yourself to be with what is.
Do you know what I found as well that is nearly meditation for me is podcasting.
Yeah, okay, so you're very present and
It's the most present I am in my day.
Yeah.
I've no phone.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not be listening to what you say because I have to conversate with you and I'm interested in what we're talking about. So it's very hard to not be present while I'm doing it.
Yeah. So this is a mindfulness. This is where you're most mindful.
I think it actually is. Like, I've thought about it a lot. I think that I don't realise how important this is for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Is connecting with people, learning new things, looking at someone in the eye.
Yeah.
I'm in this room for an hour and a half to an hour focusing on conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking about anything else while I'm in here.
That's great. So you're really present. And I feel like that when I teach meditation and, you know, teach yoga, it's a chance to really be present with my experience, really be mindful of, you know, what my surrounds are and the words that I'm using, or, you know, how people are looking. And then meditation could be the step further where you're just learning to relax with what you're seeing, you know, like, because the opposite could be, well, the black dot, I've got to fix that now. Like, I've got to go and get out pain. And like, it's always, because notice how, from my experience, I'm always trying to, I've always sort of, I wanted to change something. It's like, it has to be this, or it has to be, or I've got this and I've got the black car, but actually I wanted the red car, or I've got the house in Torquay, but I really wanted it on the Esplanade, or, you know, I'm wearing the grey t-shirt, I want the blue t-shirt, or, so there's always a grasping. So meditation is just to drop that and just let life be, you know, and as I said, it will let you be.
Two other things now that I think about it, because I think what's really cool about today, and obviously the way that you practice meditation yourself and mindfulness, all those sort of categories, is like, it doesn't have to be a one size fits all thing. And like, you can do 20 minutes, you can do 30 seconds, like I can do millions of different exercises, you can listen to guided meditations, whatever it is. But one thing I've actually found of late, which is unbelievable for me, and I actually want to like start practicing, I was doing it on the weekend, was one of the coolest things where I can get present and really makes me think about myself and like out of my own body, is getting up on at a really high place. So when on the weekend I was at a Bucks party, mind you, so probably not the right time to be doing this, but I was at a
You have parties every weekend, Dyl.
I do.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, party guy. And I stayed at hotels. You know when you're up on like a high
looking
floor,
down,
and you look down at like the road, you can see the tiny people, and you just go like, holy fuck, like I'm just a part of this world.
Yeah.
There is so much shit going on.
Yeah.
Like, and you just watch cars drive around. You're like, I wonder where they're going. Like, I have no idea where. Like, that is the most mindful thing for me. I literally do it for like 30 minutes whenever I'm doing it.
Yeah, and it's a looking out. It's like letting the mind expand. So it's going from small, you know, contracted mind to you just kind of look out at the window and just look how big the world is out there, and just sort of notice that, you know, that there's that person getting on with their life and that person's handing them their coffee. And you start to see the human in people when you can look out and broaden your perspective. And sort of, you know, step away from this individualism or me culture and look out at the world. You can start to see that, like, we're sort of cut from the same fabric. Yeah. We're this, you know, we're all doing the same thing, and that can also open the heart of compassion. You know, you can start to see people and feel people's struggles, and I'm having the same struggles as you are, or, you know, like, you can start to be more compassionate and kind with people. You know, you smile at someone who hands you your coffee rather than, oh, you served it too cold today, or, you know what, like, you just start to see the human in people, which is nice. So looking out is a great technique. And I think that's, you know, when you close your eyes, you can do the same. You can rest back and you can kind of look out, you know, from behind the eyelids, and you can kind of just, you know, observe a little bit more. Observe rather than always just be like on the front foot and doing, and, you know, it's like, just learn to relax and practice being is the idea.
Can we, there's a part here around green spaces.
Yeah.
Now, Darcy, did you put that in from my note, or did you have a note on that, Ryan? Because I talk about green spaces way too often.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Why not?
Well, I don't know much about them, to be honest, but I feel like I play golf.
Right.
And
I did see that you had the golf at the Lululemon day.
Yeah.
Did you do well?
So I play golf, and no, I love my golf. But as for me, there's obviously the side of doing golf, but I think for me it is a quite mindfulness activity as well, being in nature.
Yep.
I used to live in Sydney where I was where the ocean, and I'm sure it does the same thing for you, but it's almost like a cleansing tool of like going under the waves, feeling, you know, certain things. Like I used to put my head under and just feel the waves sort of go through my body and feel like all the toxins like coming out. Moved back to Melbourne, and I reckon I literally had like a bit of seasonal depression in the sense of like, not actually depression, but like just different weather, different, like I couldn't get in the water anymore, wasn't living near the beach. Found golf and like walking around in amongst the trees, grass, phone in the bag, like actually going up to a tree or trees, and I know this sounds stupid, but going like, this thing's like giving me fresh oxygen. Like I'm really as close as it is to recovery. Like people go into like hyperbaric chambers, but I'm like, man, this thing's giving me like real stuff here. Like this is how close I am. So like as stupid it was, I was going like, I'm breathing in the freshest air of all time.
No, that's a great point. You know, nature can provide us an opportunity to do exactly that, like see something bigger than you. And I think it's really helpful because otherwise, like I said at the start, you know, I'm the center of my universe, you're the center of your own universe. And we don't sort of notice that actually I am because you are. Like if I don't look after nature, then I'll be no longer. Like nature is, we are. And the question that's often posed in meditation, this is a little bit of a deep sort of question, but, you know, am I in the universe or am I the universe? Am I in the universe? Hang on, or am I the universe? So if I am the universe, then it makes sense to look after, you know, pick up the paper or, you know, get out and look after the tree, plant a tree. I remember, what was that show that, it was Afterlife. Do you remember, did you watch that show?
With Ricky Gervais?
That's it.
Yeah.
And he said something along the lines of, you know, kindness is when someone plants a tree, an old man plants a tree that he would never be able to sit under, you know, and experience the shade. So back to your question around green spaces, you know, it's a bit off the track, but I think it's an opportunity to just let things open. You know, when I get out in nature, I feel like there's something bigger than me and I can decompress. You're probably the same on the golf course because you miss it from the beach. Like there's something, and all of a sudden my problems that I'm having and those small commentaries that I'm having in my mind and the conflicts, it's like I give up the inner battle and it's just like I allow life to, it's spacious, you know, and I forget my problems for a little bit. And then I go back and there the problems are again. But it's like stepping away from that small contracted individualism and noticing there's something actually bigger than you. And it's really nice to connect with that. So if you don't live in the city, or if you don't live in the city, that's great. You'll probably get that every day. But if you do live in the city, and I grew up living in an apartment and there wasn't much space around. So you could still go outside of your apartment, look up at the sky and just let your mind expand, because it's a chance to expand your mind. And I think playing golf, lots of space out there, especially when you're probably...
You know, on the fairways. Yeah. I knew where we were going with that. I appreciate that. Just on that, like we have this little brand called More Greens, and I think I've never actually explained the name probably in depth, but like obviously there's a green in golf. It's colourful. It is green. Yeah. Like golf is green. There's greens where you hit your ball on the green, but even just like eating greens. Yeah. And it's like more greens, like it's just getting more green in your life, like just more of those things, more oxygen, more time away. And like I just love that brand name so much that it's like, it's deeper than just like what the actual title is, but I was like, fuck, it's just more green. Get more green into you.
I mean, green is a good thing, you know, like green spaces, you know, like plants, you know, making friends with like eating less, you know, animals and so forth. I think it's helpful because let's face it, if we keep going down the path that we're going, like there's a lot of sort of destruction. I don't want to focus on the negative things that are happening in the world, but it's nice that we're sort of having these conversations about more greens and meditation and kindness, because I think it's, you know, people are getting more in tune with that and it makes sense. And I feel like that's our sort of, that's our baseline, that's our default mode to want to help people, to want to be kind, to want to help the planet, to want to, you know, rather than, oh, I've got to get my, you know, I want to, what would be the opposite to that? Like I've got to construct my fourth house or whatever it is. Not that that's a bad thing, but you know, like just to notice that actually this is pretty good. Right now it's just enough, you know, we're sitting here, we're having a conversation. This is pretty good. You know, I don't need all the stuff that I have. Because most of the time when I die, like all the stuff's going to go anyway. Like someone else is going to be driving my car. Someone will be living in my house. So it's like, what's the good stuff? Actually, this is it right now. You know, this is it. Happiness doesn't happen when I get the Esplanade. I'll get it one day, but it does, you know, I won't, but you know what I mean? Like it's
not with that attitude, but yeah.
I don't know if I want it though, but because then I'll probably want the house on Main Beach Noosa, you know, like it's just that we feed the wolf of more, but happiness happens in the present moment. And so it's like, oh, actually I've got it pretty good. You know, I've got my little baby at home. I've got a beautiful partner. I'm pretty healthy. This is good stuff. Yeah,
mate, I'm realizing that I don't know if it's being a dad or whatever it is at the moment, but I've never been, I'm not content. Like I really do want more, and I'm very hungry and driven to succeed. And I don't even know what that means, because I feel like I am succeeding, and not the sense of like monetary or anything like that. Just like I'm succeeding because I'm in a career that I love and I'm very passionate about it. But I've never been more happy with a situation, because it's like, I know this is the fun time. Yeah. Not when you have everything. It's like the growing. It's like being present and going like, no, this is actually the fun part. Trying to get it.
Because probably when you look back, when you get it all, you look back and you'll notice, exactly. Like that was the joy of getting there. You know, like. And I'm not saying don't have goals and have aspirations. I think it's really helpful to do that, but also notice that enjoy the ride, like you're saying. You know, enjoy this sort of moment as well.
And if you're not present, you don't know. And then, that's when it does.
Because you're constantly just chasing more, you know, and you never really stop and smell the roses. So every now and again, mindfulness or meditation will help us practice stopping, let the body relax and just smell the roses. Yeah.
Love it. Should we get into some
let's do
techniques?
Technique,
Maybe even like if you can, and I'll let you do this because it's your forte, but like if there's like a breath work, then maybe a mindfulness technique, then we do a meditation technique as well.
Sure.
Wary of anyone out there, if they are driving, maybe don't listen to this.
Yeah.
Don't close your eyes.
So we'll do, why don't we, so breath work I love the fact that breath work's getting more and more popular these days, because it's like breath work is a way to work with your nervous system. So the breath is a touch point into the nervous system. So we can use breathing and the way that we breathe to influence our mood and our energy and our nervous system. So the breath work, you know, it's a whole sort of different beast. We can, you know, increase the length of our inhale. We can increase the length of our exhale. And those two things, like if I increase the length of my exhale, I'll feel more grounded and calm. If I increase the length of my inhale, I feel more awake and alive. When I inhale, my heart rate goes up. When I exhale, my heart rate slows down. So I can use the breath to either feel more awake. I can use the breath to feel more grounded and calm.
Wow. Can you repeat that? So breathing out is more grounded, and breathing in is more energy.
Awakening, So if I want to awaken, or I can breathe quickly, you know, like or I can breathe more forcefully, and that will make me more awake and energized. If I breathe slower and longer, it's going to help me slow things down and feel more grounded and calm. If there's a beautiful breath technique, actually, if you do have Spotify, I always recommend there's a it's not like a song, but it's like just a sound. It's called 2 bells. It's coherent breathing. Coherent breathing. So, generally, let's face it, we probably breathe like 15 to 20 times per minute. And coherent breathing is breathe in for 6 and out for 6 seconds. Now, when I do that, that's 5 times in 1 minute. Okay. And rather than focus on the 1, 2, the count, 2 bells is a soundtrack, and it's just the sound of 2 bells, and they're 6 seconds apart. So it's ding, and there's a nice hum in the background, and then it's a ding, and it's just 6 seconds. So coherent breathing is 6 in, 6 out, and it slows down the nervous system. It's a mindfulness technique because it brings your attention into the present moment, and it's also a great relaxing technique because it actually slowing down the breath will help you calm the nervous system. So
that's a good one.
That's a ripper. I think we could even do it now. Like I'll get it up on Spotify. Maybe we can hold it into the microphone. And what if we just do 2 techniques today? One, we'll do coherent breathing for a minute, and then the other, we'll just do a little short meditation practice for a couple of minutes.
Love it.
Does that sound good?
Sounds fantastic. I already feel zen. That was a really interesting point, though, around the in and out. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so I find that a little bit, and something you said earlier that really rang true to me was around, don't do this when things like I feel like I'm definitely a meditator when I'm not at my best. Yeah. But I'm not doing it when things are going wow, which is the opposite to a lot of things, right? Normally you do things where you're your best, but you don't do it when. Yeah. So for me, it's like meditation's this thing going, oh, I'm not having an anxiety attack. I don't need to meditate today.
For sure.
But maybe if I'm consistent with it, I won't have to worry about the anxiety attacks.
Or even when I do, I'm more like I have more, like you said, I have a better tool set. My toolbox has not just the spanner, but it has a hammer, spanner, screwdriver, a couple of nails. So I'm more equipped to face the challenges in my life. Because let's face it, we all experience loss in our life. We all experience grief in our life. We all experience like disappointment in life. So mindfulness gives us the tools to be able to work through these things with more ease, to navigate through life with more ease.
That is so good. Like, it's such a great point. I think that it's something that doesn't get said enough. Is I feel sometimes when a lot of maybe you hear people talking about meditation and mindfulness, it's like there's this conception that they go, well, nothing ever bad happens then, because if you do this, it's okay. It's like, no, like there's still going to be a heap of shit that happens, but you just deal with it better.
Deal with it better. You can be more relaxed. You can be more kind and compassionate to yourself and to others. You can learn from it. I think, the mind doesn't spiral into the narrative and the commentary as much, even though it does. Like, you can bring it back to the present moment and look after what's happening now rather than the storyline, which can take you off into thought. My experience with thoughts, like if I was to say, Dyl, I really like that t-shirt. It looks cool. Looks great on you. Matches your, like your hair, or you're like, oh, that feels nice. You might have the thoughts might create a nice feeling. But if I was like, Dyl, what the hell are you doing with that t-shirt today? Why did you choose that one? You'd be like, well, those thoughts might create some kind of negative emotion. So my thoughts create my emotions. So if I can steer my attention back to what's happening now, notice how I'm thinking and how I'm in relationship with the moment, then it's going to help me, as I said, look after my emotions and just be a little bit more kind with myself. I think that's the main thing. I really hope that sort of gets through to the listeners. Like, just be kind, just be kind with yourself. Make friends with yourself. Make friends with your own mind. Even if it's busy, that's fine. Just make friends with a busy mind.
Yeah.
Relax with life as it is.
So cool.
Otherwise, you're trying to make it something else. It couldn't be anything else than it is. You're trying to make it something else. And again, we just get into striving. And so let's do some coherent breathing.
Let's do that. Can I tell you one thing quickly? Before we do coherent breathing, early in this year, I was becoming, the reason I didn't want to, I probably have now realizing why I avoid being in the quiet spaces, is because I'd only ever use techniques when I was struggling with something.
Yeah.
So if I had, experiencing like heavy anxiety or something like that, I'd do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I found that if I did it when I was okay, it would make me anxious because it was so connected to like bad times.
Yeah.
Not bad times, but things that struggles.
Yeah.
So
what a negative connotation.
Yeah, negative connotation to it. It was like, I only use this tool if I'm fucking cooked,
For sure.
And what I actually realized I read this book called Dare.
Right.
And it was around sort of anxiety and stuff. And I want to talk about this one day because I went through a really weird thing this year, but now I've like become best friends with my anxiety, and I don't even actually talk about it unless I'm helping people, learn from it and educate around it. I'm not educating anything. I'm talking things that I've read. And it's like, I don't even really acknowledge it anymore because I think that I made it such a personality trait for me that it was such a big factor.
For sure.
Whereas now I'm like, hey man, like I'm me first.
Yep.
Like I'm not anxiety, I'm Dylan.
Yep.
That's a part of me somewhere, but like it's just a thing that I go, it's not my personality, it's not who I am. So anyway, when I read this book Dare, the main thing with this stuff is like running away from things and not wanting to deal with it. But the biggest thing I learned through it was like I had to sit in it, and it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it was so shit, but I just had to sit in it and almost trick myself into loving it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened through it. It wasn't technically meditation. It sort of technically is. Yeah, it sort of was. But it was so hard. But when I just kept sitting in it and like going, you know what? Yeah, like I'm welcoming it. Like, yeah, come on in. Give me a fucking panic attack. I want this. Like sort of talking to myself about it. It sort of just faded away.
For sure. And I think that's a really nice point, when it's kind of cliche, but some of the things that are cliche, they're cliche because they're true. Like what you resist will persist. Like if I keep pushing it away, like what you resist, it's just going to keep banging me harder. It's like a knock at the door a little harder. But what I turn towards starts to open and shift. Like when I turn towards my anxiety, when I close my eyes and meditation's not going to always feel good. No. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like peace doves and, certain sounds of the birds and the waterfall and so forth. You're going to sit and you just with a friendly attitude, you're sitting and noticing what's present.
It's kind.
Yep. And you're noticing your anxiety is present for that little moment in the day. And if you notice it and you just notice it with a careful, friendly attitude, then it's like you're welcoming in it for a cup of tea. Like, come in, sit down, take as long as you
what
like.
You have to do.
Yeah, that's it. That's the message. Like, welcome it in, and it's not welcome it in like I've got work. I've got to fold the washing, and I've got to get the dinner ready for Bella. Like, I'll probably be here for 10 minutes, but I actually want you to get out. It's welcome it in. Stay as long as you want. Unpack your bags, chill out.
You're my friend, man.
Making friends with it. Bro. And when you turn towards your anxiety or your nervousness, or when you turn towards your jealousy or your frustration, from my experience, it tends to open a little bit. It tends to not have such a strong hold on you. It sort of ventilates it.
You're sort of facing it. And the other thing that I found that happened to me with it was I through this like technique that you look at it now like it was a form of meditation, is you actually, because you're talking to it, you're disassociating it to yourself. Before we were saying like, this is not me. Yeah, it's just something.
Yeah, so you step back from it,
and you're giving it like, hey, welcome. Like, come on. Yeah, but it's not like it wasn't me. It was something else.
Yeah, some people give it a name or give it a name, give it like an identity. Yep. Yeah. And you step back away from it.
Your welcome's like, mate, literally come at me. Yeah. Like, give me the worst one you got.
And I know that sounds kind of weird and a bit woohoo, but like it, even if whatever you're experiencing, if you just close your eyes and you just meet it with kindness, then generally, and you're not trying to get rid of it or change it, you just meet it as it is. It couldn't be anything else, actually. So you're just making friends with your experience in life.
Didn't think we'll go on here today, but I really like it. I think it's a really powerful message.
Yeah,
no, I love
thanks for sharing.
Really, wouldn't do it if I wasn't with good people. Let's get into some two bells.
Okay, so listeners, if you are at home and
close your eyes
on the move, it would be nice to close your eyes. That way, it's just sort of a soft gaze, at least, just so you're bringing your attention. You come back to your own energy for a moment.
And if you are driving, guys, please don't. I do put people to sleep a lot with a lot of my stories, but this one, maybe no driving, please.
Okay. So just take a moment or two just to get comfortable. So if you need to find a better position in the seat if you're sitting, or if you are walking or on the move, you might just park for a moment, be still. So step number one is always get the position of the body right. So take a few moments just to move around if you need. And then step number two, practice relaxing just a little bit more than you are right now. Notice how there's always something. See if you can just get a little bit more tension free in the body. Now the word here is gently. I'll ask you to just gently make your breath a little longer and perhaps a little slower. Again, go easy with it. So just easy, slower breathing. Instead of 15 or 20 times in the minute, you might listen to the sound of the bell and synchronize your breath to the sound of the bell. So it's a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale. Again, start slow, work into it. 6 in and 6 out. Body relaxed. Let the breath be easy. If the mind wanders off, notice this is a chance to soothe your nervous system. Breathe in and breathe out again. Slow in and a relaxed out. Okay, and then take your time, a few moments. You might just drop the chin to the chest if you're sitting and blink your eyes open and closed a couple of times. Come back into the space around you or wherever you are. And then when you're ready, lift the gaze up and relax. Okay. So that one's coherent breathing. It is on Spotify, so if you want to check it out, it's called 2 bells. This is the sound of the bell. And you know what? It's even if you did that for 2 minutes in the morning, what a great way to soothe your own nervous system. What a great way to set up the day. So 2 minutes coherent, or 2 bells, and it's under coherence, which is I think it's a nice sort of thing to do.
Man, it's a nice thing. I love that. I was actually better than I expected because in terms of my performance in that, and again, there's no good or bad meditations. I totally agree.
It's good to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, there was times where I was in a meeting before you came in. I sort of went straight back to that as soon as my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, no, come back to my breath. And it was cool to notice when you drift off. Then come back in, and then I suppose like as it went on, like the quicker I came back to it.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it is because it's a sound and it's the sound of the bell, you can kind of drop the thinking for a bit. You don't have to count. You can just listen to the sound. And I always encourage the crew to drive around between meetings with this on in their car. I know it's like a little, you want to listen to like Lana Del Rey or whatever. Who's your rapper again?
Loyal Kana.
Okay.
Loyal Kana.
So you could just press pause on that for a bit. And, if you have had a busy day, then you're driving from one meeting then the next. I'm just going to work on with my nervous system a bit for a little bit here.
So you can do this, seriously, you can do this.
Yeah, eyes open.
And
basically, this is just a technique to feel breathing. See if you can feel breathing. And that one's a good one to, again, it's a breath work technique. It's a even ratio breath work, which will bring the nervous system into a little bit more harmony. So if you're feeling scattered, it might bring you down a little bit. If you're feeling lethargic, it could pick you up a little bit. So it's an even technique, but also it's a mindfulness technique, especially when you close your eyes and you're right there with the breath as it comes in and you're right there with the breath as it goes out. It's a chance to be where you are for a few moments. But yeah, that's a good one. A coherent breathing, I think, it's useful because everyone can have a balanced breath. It's helpful to teach to the masses. Whereas if I don't know, in this room, the 3 of us in here, I might be feeling nervous. You might be feeling relaxed. You might be feeling scatty. So we all have different. So breath work was a bit more prescribed. Okay, so you're going to do a slower exhale. I'm going to do a longer inhale, and you're going to do a balanced breath. Yeah. Whereas a balanced breath is good for everyone because it's just going to bring the nervous system into harmony. So it's a good one to do every day.
Really cool.
Yeah.
In terms of before you were saying around as well, like inhale for more energy. Yeah. Exhale for
exhale.
Exhale. Sorry, for groundedness.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can? We don't have to go through them today, but even just like numbers of like inhale.
Ratio.
So if someone is sitting in an office and they're like, "Fuck, I'm tired. I need to get some more energy."
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So you could breathe in for 6 and out for 4.
Yep.
Or you could breathe. That would be more awakening. Mm-hmm. Or you could breathe, and depending on your mood, like don't force it. Keep it gentle. Like breath work is always best practice lightly. Because if I'm feeling stressed and anxious, it could make me feel more stressed and anxious if I'm trying to push it. A ratio of like 1 to 2 or 2 to 1. So 2 to 1 would be more awakening. 2 inhale, so you might breathe in for 6 and out for 3, or you might make it like in for 4 and out for 6 would be more a calming breath.
Gotcha.
But you kind of had to work a little bit with it, like to just kind of feel it out, thrash it out a little bit with your own breath. Thrash is probably not the right word to use, but you sort of feel it out a little bit, but customize it to suit your mood and your day. But the idea is just lengthen the breath out, make it more calm. And I think the more calm, abiding breath these days are going to be more helpful for everyone. Only because like we're all living in a sympathetic state. We're all here, there and everywhere. We're getting things done. You just went from one meeting to this. I'm sure you got another one after this. So it's like for you, like, and for everyone probably out there, it's like calm.
Yeah, the grounded, I think 90% of people were looking for more grounding.
So lengthen the exhale. Breathe in for 4 and out for 6.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
So cool. In terms of meditation?
Okay, so let's do a little meditation. This is will just be a guided meditation that you can use any day.
Do you have any of your, do you do any of
Yeah,
your
so
own?
I've got a yoga studio, an online yoga studio called It's All Yoga. And that's, it's got lots of different meditations on there. And, you know, to be honest, they range from 5 to probably 12 minutes. I tend to not go longer than that.
Yeah, it's a good time.
They're good time. Yeah, so you can log on to that and check it out. And as you said, you know, there's lots of apps you can use. But this is one that you could just do on your own. I'll talk you through the technique. The technique will be step number 1, get the position right.
Yeah.
So same as what we did before.
So funny then when you said that, because I was like a little bit uncomfortable at the start. Then you're like, okay, make sure you're comfy.
For sure. Be leisurely with it. Take a minute to set up and kind of, because in the moving, when you move around, you're getting more familiar with your own body, and it's a mindfulness technique. You're getting, like you said, I can feel my sit bones on the chair. So step number 1, practice getting the alignment of your body right.
Yep. Question, sorry.
Yeah,
keep jumping
this is
in.
good. It's Teach Me Pls.
It's Teach Me Pls. So, it's all the questions that I wish, you know, I was too scared to put my hand up and actually ask when I was in these sessions. No laying down.
Laying down, standing up, sitting down. Standing up sometimes gets a little like wobbly. Laying down, I have a tendency to nod off.
Yeah,
to
and
sleep.
same. I'd fall asleep.
So sitting up seems to be the balance between the two.
Yeah.
And sitting with my back against the wall can sometimes be helpful, or sitting away from the support of my chair, and I have a stronger back. So it's like a relaxed, strong back, but a relax my shoulders or something like that feels more attentive.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a position that's relaxed but attentive.
Yeah.
On my back, I'm relaxed.
Yeah, sleepy.
Off I go.
I even find that in the chair. Sometimes if I lean back, you do get a bit sleepy as well.
Sluggish and, you know.
Okay.
So there's an attention to it.
Attentive. Back.
So posture, number 1, we'll look for attentive and relaxed. We'll do that together. Step number 2 is just to scan the body and practice relaxing more. And that's going to be great that could be it. Just park it there, open your eyes and off you go. But just look to get a little bit more tension free. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to, with a friendly attitude, listen to life. So we'll listen to sound, and that will change every day. And then we'll come into the body and we'll just listen to something.
Yeah.
I'll guide you through.
Love it. I feel like we're doing fucking Bikram meditation at the moment. In this room.
It is.
That's another way to do it.
This is a Melbourne hot day. It's, I mean, few and far between. Lucky we only have 2 weeks of summer in Melbourne, and we'll be back in the winter soon.
Yeah, we'll be back complaining later. Fantastic. So eyes closed, obviously?
Eyes closed or soft gaze. Your choice. Yep.
Soft gaze, is that like just a...
Soft gaze is kind of like just look to a space in front of you and it kind of blurs. You know when you sort of soft gaze and things blur? So you're not really focusing on anything. The eyes aren't flickering all over the shop. So if you feel more comfortable closing your eyes, do that. Otherwise, soft gaze.
Just right. FYI for everyone, I am closing my eyes.
Yeah, me too. All right, so let's get into it again. Take a few moments just to stop what you're doing. Find a position that's comfortable. Sitting. If it is helpful, lay down. And then just set up the body. So use the wisdom of your own body. Just can you feel the position in a way that's attentive, awake, but at the same time it's easy. Let the body relax. And then there tends to be always somewhere, but step number 2, practice getting a little bit more tension free than you are now. And you could get more and more subtle with that. So perhaps the forehead relaxes, or perhaps the hands soften a little. Let go of the belly. And then notice the feeling of breathing. Notice how your breath is happening now. And go for the feeling. Is it in the belly right now, or is the breath up in the chest right now? Where are you feeling the breath right here in this moment? And then just let your attention lightly rest on the breath. And then open the ears for listening. So you might just let the doorways of the ears open. Notice the movement of sound that's occurring right now. Notice how sound is changing. Just with this friendly attitude, listen to sound. And then stay with the listening. Might you just come into the feeling of your own body for a moment? A nice chance to notice the body's communicating, and you could just simply listen for a moment. Notice sensation, or where the body feels warm or cool. Perhaps there's a little tightness or something that's tugging at your attention to be heard. Again, just with an attitude of friendliness. What's it like just to meet your own body for a moment today? And then check out, is there anything else that's present? Maybe it's a thought or an emotion that you've been working with for a few days, or maybe just right now. Nice chance just to, with a kind attention, you might meet that for a moment. So notice life is happening now, and what's it like just to be present with life as it's happening now? Okay, and then just come back to feeling the body, and from the body, feel out into the space around you. So check out the space in front and behind, feel out to the left and the right. Now, when you're ready to blink the eyes open, do it a couple of times, open and close the eyes. Just come back into the seeing and the colors, the textures. And then when you're ready to lift the gaze up, go ahead, lift the gaze up and rest. Okay, so the technique was, number 1, set up the body. Number 2, relax. Then we brought a mindfulness technique in, which was just breathing. So we just focused on the breath, the feeling of the breath. And that could have been it. You could have just let that be the meditation and got on with, practice breathing mindfully for a minute, bring your attention into the now, and then let go, and then get on with the rest of the day. But then what we did was, the breath was an entry point into what was happening now. And then we just practiced simple listening. So we stepped back from the doing, and we were just able to practice being for a moment, being with that sound, being with my own body, the feeling, being with anything else. Maybe it's you're thinking about someone, or there was some kind of inner conflict that you're going on, that might be going on right now. So it's just a chance, again, bring friendliness into it. Wrap your arms around whatever it is that's present with friendliness, friendly listening, friendly feeling. And that's all it was. We were just living. Life was happening live, and we were living.
I'm big on the guided.
Yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah, especially if you have a busy mind. Start with the guided at some point. No point. Stay with what works. Yeah. I think that's helpful, rather than trying to. No, you have to get somewhere. Just do what works,
You'll probably just end up finding what you need is best for you anyway.
How do you feel now, Dyl?
I feel really good, man. I'm not just saying that because we're on a podcast and you're sitting in front of me, but I genuinely feel very good.
Steady. How would you describe it if you're describing it to
I felt quite tired before, and I just feel like I feel like just I'm awake.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
And that relaxation response of when you just stop, the body can relax, and that's a good thing too. Just let things relax and take the lid off the pressure cooker for a moment.
I like what happened as well, because at the end how you were like, you said when there's something, if there's a thought, just go to it, because it's sort of almost, as we were saying before, with everything, the more we fight it, it just keeps coming back in the mind anyway. So it's like, if there's a thought, okay, just go think about it, finish it, then come back to the breath. Or,
or just check it out for a bit. You know, just meet what's present. Life is right here for us. So it's like just be with life as it's happening. That's meditation. You're not trying to get rid of it or fix it or make it better. You're just allowing life to be.
There was a listener question here, and I think we sort of actually answered it, which was really cool. It was like, how can we integrate meditation into our daily routines, and how many times do we need to do it? But I might even answer that question.
Dyl, first of all, I love that you got listener questions, but go ahead.
Firstly, you've got to work out what's best for you. You don't want it to become a chore.
Don't.
Okay?
No.
Secondly, habit stacking.
Great.
Put it with something that you do every day.
Yep.
So whether that be, kettles on.
Yep.
And you can have a minute to just sort of be yourself, think about, listen to the kettle boiling, what can you feel in the room, go to your breath.
Great.
We obviously had the 2 techniques that we went through before about the breathing and the guided.
Yep.
Daily routines, there's the ones that we can do in the morning while you're in bed, so that minute, whatever it is.
And just on that, I think it's helpful to do meditation in the morning, only because, let's face it, okay, I wake up, I'm going to get out and attack my day, and at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'm planning to do a meditation. But you know what? Then I get a phone call at 2:30 and I've got a meeting now at 3 o'clock. So it generally never happens, Get it done in the morning.
Just get it done.
Get it done. Go and brush your teeth, wash your face, come back, sit on the seat for 2 minutes and voila. Or do it in bed, like you said, before you roll out. Just have a little time to sit, and maybe you'll make more time for it, because meditation gives you time. It doesn't give you time on the clock, but it gives you time to think more clearly and see more clearly. So gives your mind more space. So in the morning is a great place to start the day with.
Love that.
And then what else? So keep going.
I think there was the that was it. It's basically sit still. How do a person struggles to sit still because they have a busy schedule, but as I said, just got to make time in the morning. 2 minutes. It's not much.
I mean, it's sometimes if you're like, you got your baby boy now, but everyone's going to have a different lifestyle. So you look for a moment where you could just, I do it after a run. A lot of the mornings I'll finish my run and just cut my run a couple of minutes short and sit on a park bench, or just sit and feel my body and focus on breathing and let things relax. I think it's helpful. I tend to run every morning, and I'll do it after something that I'm already doing. Maybe I'll make my run, instead of 60 minutes, I'll make it 55 and sit for 5 minutes. I feel like that's a nice thing to do.
Love that. If we go through 3 takeaways today that you'd want someone leaving to know from meditation, mindfulness, mindlessness. I really love that word, by the way. I'd never heard of it being used. I think it's really relevant. 1, 2, and 3, I might start. Top 3 takeaway tips for beginners. Number 1 would be not doing it when you need it.
Yep.
Doing it even when you don't.
Great.
Because I think that's a big trap that I fall in a lot.
Yep.
It's just that consistency of, like, as we said earlier, doing it when I think, I need to meditate now.
Yeah.
Where it's probably it's not too late, but it's like, if maybe I was doing it a bit earlier, maybe I wouldn't get to this stage.
For sure.
That's a big one for me. So the consistency of, even when things are going well, staying on top of it. 2 is something that we talk about a lot, but in this sense, and I think it's really relevant, is the habit stacking.
Yep.
Always building something in with a new one that you want to entice. And I think the one we mentioned a couple of times now, but the putting the kettle on or making a coffee in the morning.
Yep.
It's always something that a lot of people do, or whatever it is in your day, and just being mindful in that time.
Yep.
What would yours be?
First one, for a beginner, start slowly.
Yeah.
Take your time. 1 minute. Don't think you have to be doing this stuff for like 20 minutes to have any benefit. Actually, 1 minute can have a lot of benefit. So small steps would be the first step. And then number 2, keep it simple. Just sit, relax, breathe, be where you are. Keep it simple. You're not trying to get anywhere. You're not trying to transcend. It's a moment of being. You just allow yourself to be where you are. Practice, stop the doing for a moment and the grasping, and just practice being. Allow life to reveal itself. So number 1, no time. Just allow yourself to start small. And number 2, I would say keep it simple. And then I'll add number 3, because I think you said 3, but yes. I'm going to say be kind with yourself. So whatever you do, just bring in kindness. Whatever the practice is, bring in an attitude of kindness and friendliness. Whether you do your minute and it's a terrible minute because you think that your mind was busy. No, actually it was a good minute, because you just practiced. You sat and you practiced. And as I said, you're going to get the ball in the hoop some mornings, and some mornings you're not.
Thank you, man.
Dyl, it's been a pleasure.
I really learned a lot today. I'm not even, really, really relevant, especially going into a time that we are now with December. Things are just they are crazy. And I know the world's always crazy, but, there is a little bit of a heightened emotional, physical sort of exhaustion that takes over this sort of time with, Christmas parties, family, all those bits and pieces. To be able to have this sort of skill and have it, maybe just try it once over the break and build it into your schedule whenever you can is really important.
Yeah. And it's like any ritual, like I said, like we all have a morning ritual, and if you can bring it in little and often, it's going to be great. And I think that motivation is do it for the crew at home as well. Yeah,
really good point. If people want to learn more, which I know they will, where can they find you? Where do you do your classes?
So you can find me on Instagram, Ryan Mannix. We have some events around town called At Peace, which are really lovely meditation events where we bring people together and talk about peace and what is peace and how we can work peace into the way that we live in the world and so forth. So At Peace, that's always on Instagram. And also, it's all yoga. I have an online yoga studio, so you can jump on and practice meditations. Also yoga, if you're interested in starting out with yoga. I've had a lot of, experience with working with beginner, crew. I've worked a lot with athletes, AFL clubs, World Surf League, national basketball crew, Olympic runners. So I really love that space where people are just sort of want to do it but don't know how. So there's a lot of classes on there where you might be able to just sort of dip your toe in the water and enjoy the benefits of yoga.
Fantastic. Well, we'll definitely put that in the show notes, and the part of me in my brain that I will never switch off as much as I try, but I don't want it to, is thinking what's next.
Yep.
And I'm going to get you to commit on it on camera and audio so you can't back out and you'd feel weird to say no.
I'll say yes.
I'd love to catch up and do a session with our run club.
Great.
And we could do like a yoga session, or we could do like a breath work meditation session. We'll get the whole crew together down and do something in the new year.
We'll do a run and we'll have some mindful running, and then we'll finish with some, you lead the run, but I'll lead a small section of mindful running.
You lead it all. I think you lead it all. Do you know what's really crazy? We could talk about this forever, but running is fucked up, like what it does for your mind. It's so crazy.
But it's beautiful, isn't it? It's like such a good thing. And I love the community. Like so many people are getting around run clubs, and it's fantastic. It just brings people together, and I think, it just, again, champions that picture of there's something bigger than me.
But even with the breathwork thing, and it's like you're doing breathwork.
100%.
As you're doing it, it's crazy.
And you're self-regulating. You're learning how to relax your shoulders up Anderson Street, or you're learning how to move more mindful. It's great.
Being present, just going just going to get to that tree, and all you're thinking about is that next 1K, and you just got to narrow in. And like when you're exhausted, in a really weird way, you actually can't stop. You actually can't think about anything else because you're so fucking tired.
Oh yeah, 100%. So when's your run club? Is it once a month, once a week?
Yeah, once a month we're doing it at the moment. Next year we'll ramp it up. We want to do a road to the Gold Coast Marathon next year.
Oh yeah, good.
So marathon. 18 weeks out. We'd love to. We might have to get you back in and do some tips around some stuff as well.
I'll be up there with the Lululemon crew. We have a little clubhouse, and so you can come and say good day there.
We'll be a part of that too.
Yep. And then also, I'd love to come back in. It's been fun.
Fantastic. I really appreciate it today. It's been awesome. Mate, thank you again.
Thanks, Dyl. Thanks,
Start of some special times for us, so thank you.
Okay.